Just coming up to 10:30. Let's see. Time and date. Wednesday, Friday. No, it's Valentine's Day. 10:29 a.m. And I just have to put my own notes on the record, because even though I refuse to have a conversation with the medical team, that doesn't mean they're not going to write bullshit on my record. And the reason that I wouldn't talk to them is the lead anyway, would not cooperate with the HIPC, the Health Information Privacy Code, that's under the Privacy Act. Now, she wouldn't consent to my recording the conversation, and she would not stop talking even once I immediately accepted that. But I just said, well, okay, well, I'm not really comfortable having the conversation then. And she went on and on and on and on about how she was uncomfortable. It's like, dude, I'm just giving you a choice. I'm not making you be recorded. And she's like, no. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, I don't particularly crave to have your voice, on my phone. It's just that there's quid pro quo going on here. Firstly, I haven't had methylphenidate, so I'm not in the right state to really remember or be sort of cognitively flexible enough to have a serious medical conversation with a team of 4. And secondly, I've just had hell with my medical notes being falsified, and she was arguing with me about, because I said, for example, my record is down as having overdose on clonazepam and zopiclone, and she said to me, I was there, and so was I think one of the other women here, when those notes were read. It's like, so? Are you trying to say that's the same as being there when I took this fictitious clonazepam overdose? It's so weird. And I said those were not. I said under the HIPC, the information has to come from the patient. It didn't come from me. It came from the cops. She said, I didn't read anything from the cops. Cops, I don't know what you're talking about. It was a statement from the whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but the triage nurses, whatever, didn't just make it up. Like, the information came from somewhere. Like, I don't know, does she honestly think that notes, I genuinely think that she's the kind of person who thinks that medical notes are unmediated views on reality. I think that she thinks that they're just come down from the heavens. I don't think she realises that they have to come from somebody, whether they're made up or mistaken or whatever. And I said they were made by the cops, and so she was just like, okay, whatever, I just don't, like, she didn't want to concede to the fact that I did not overdose on clonazepam, and I said this is why I want things on record, because, and she said one of the, I don't know, I don't know if they're all doctors, but she referred to another young woman there, and she said, well, she'll be taking notes the whole way through, so you'll have a record. And I said, yeah, that just doesn't work in my experience. All this weird shit ends up in my notes, and it's to my great detriment. And she said, well, I don't consent to being recorded, so this conversation's over. And I'm like, okay, sounds fine. She really, I think she was really hoping for a fight about my recording her. It's like, I'm not interested in recording you. I'm giving you a choice. Like, we have a conversation in which I have some evidence of what was said, or we don't. It's an option, not a persuasion. I accepted immediately. She got in quite a snit, so I'm going to expect notes that are going to say patient wouldn't cooperate, patient blah blah, patient blah blah, because refusing to talk to medical staff doesn't protect you from having bullshit written on your record. So there's going to be bullshit written on my record, so I'm putting this record down immediately after. Okay. So I just had to stop because my nurse came to give me my meds, and I actually do respect people's privacy, but not when they're interfering with my privacy. So yeah, I had explained to this doctor, I don't know if she's a house surgeon or a registrar, I'm not sure, but she's quite young and not very bright. Yeah, it's like, if you don't, I can't believe that she doesn't want to be recorded, on my voice recording, and she's making a huge fucking deal out of it, all out of proportion to the interest that I have in recording her, and yet has got zero interest whatsoever in upholding my patient rights to have accurate medical information on my record. Like, she didn't give a shit. She just said, well, we weren't going to give it to you anyway based on your blah, blah, blah. I was like, what are you talking about? I had it anyway. I had it last night anyway. Like, that's honestly, this is just, I said, look, the privacy officers in hospital really have got no idea about the law. I said, I'm already battling with them about trying to get borderline personality disorder off my record. It's incredible what's happening there. They keep calling it a statement of correction, and it's like, no, I'm not making a statement of correction. You have to remove it because you know it's wrong. You've admitted to me you know it's wrong. By law, you have to remove anything that isn't accurate. The patient does not need to make a statement of correction. The patient has noticed that she's down as having borderline personality disorder, and they said, oh, it was a differential diagnosis that wasn't properly removed. It's like, no, it's not a differential diagnosis. It was never a differential diagnosis. The differential diagnosis was bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder. Borderline personality disorder is a personality disorder. They are very, very different. And it is your job. And I keep quoting. She said she's a privacy officer, although she's in customer services and specialist mental health services. It's like, what the fuck? So she's now written an acknowledgement letter of my request, and they're going to think about correcting the note, but they have to think about it for a while. And it's like, this is mental, like, this is insane. Like, you know that it's wrong, and not only are you insisting that I'm trying to attach a statement of correction rather than just correcting what you know to be false, you are now reserving some right that you think you have to consider it. You don't have, you don't reserve the right to have to think about it when you've already acknowledged that the information is false. It is insane. It's insane. It's so illegal to do this. When you lots of mistakes they should be caught internally. That's what the system checks are for. There is a law that says you have to check the information is accurate before you share it or use it in any other way. You've already broken the law, and now you're doubling down on it. It's absolutely insane. So I'm not having a conversation with fucking anybody who's not on record. Yeah, so that's what I've got to say, and I've got, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of whether they're going to discharge me or not. I think that's the thing. If they want to keep holding me until they get an unrecorded hostage video out of me, then well, I guess we'll just see where that takes us. But yeah, no, I'm sick of this DHB. I really am.